I'm April Cummings in for Donna Bush with your CIGTV News Update, Community News, and Weather Forecast. Thanks for joining us.
So I think our goal was to raise around 60,000. Because of all of you, we didn't raise 60. We didn't raise 65. We didn't raise 70. We didn't raise 75. We didn't raise 80. We raised 81,675.
The grand total raised at this year's DG's 5K walk run was $11,675 more than the $70,000 goal. Mr. Manderson says he is thrilled that such an impressive amount was raised for each of the 3 charities chosen this year. On Wednesday evening, close to 100 civil servants, volunteers, and sponsors attended an appreciation event at the Governor's, where the amount raised was revealed. This year's participants are the Alex Panton Foundation, the Cayman Islands Crisis Center, and the Special Needs Foundation Cayman. The Caribbean Financial Action Task Force hosts plenary sessions twice a year, and this November a large delegation from the Cayman Islands, led by the Attorney General, attended. Elizabeth Lees is the national coordinator of the Anti-Money Laundering Steering Group.
Our first follow-up report will be discussed at that plenary, and the Attorney General will be giving a presentation which highlights some of the major milestones that we've achieved during this observation period. The Cayman Islands will be an active participant in the plenary, as well as the Attorney General's presentation. We'll be giving a second presentation that I'll be giving. We'll also be participating in the mutual evaluation of Bermuda, for which we provided the legal assessor, and the mutual evaluation of the Turks and Caicos Islands, for which we're a member of the sub-working group on the key issues. And we also, of course, will actively participate in both the working group and plenary sessions in order to demonstrate the seriousness with which Cayman Islands treats this matter and our commitment to both CFATF and FATF and to the global community's response to these extremely important issues: money laundering, terrorist financing, and of course proliferation financing, the financing of weapons of mass destruction.
In early November, government regulators and the Cayman Islands
either being co-charged or appearing in the dock. So these people were not present. And the
private sector came together to better identify the risks of misusing legal persons and arrangements, such as companies, partnerships, and trusts. It's part of Cayman's continued efforts to strengthen the fight against money laundering, terrorist financing, and the financing of weapons of mass destruction. The Cayman Music and Entertainment Association says it has had to cancel this year's Sounds of Love Thanksgiving benefit concert. The event was scheduled for November 30th at the East End Heritage Field, but has been canceled now. Officials from CMEA, though, wanted to send out their heartfelt thanks to the many people who plan to participate in the event. Organizers in East End, sponsors, musicians, artists, cooks, and many others. Another benefit concert will be announced in the not-too-distant future. So now let's check in on other community stories making headlines, this time from Radio Cayman. Lebanese Scott Senior High School student Siri Bata is officially crowned the best secondary school speller from this year's Lions Club of Grand Cayman Secondary Spelling Bee. The competition held this week was intense in the final rounds, with Siri and her challenger, Alec Benjamin Bennett of Clifton Hunter High School, having to do a tiebreaker to determine the champion. The word vacuous was the word of the day for Miss Bata. Along with her championship trophy, Siri picked up some really cool prizes, including a laptop. The 36th annual Lions Club of Grand Cayman Secondary Spelling Bee saw some 18 secondary students participating this year. And of course, we say our congratulations to Siri and the other students. Now to community news from the Cayman Compass. Cayman's legislators have given the green light for the UK to proceed with changing the Constitution. Premier Eldon McLaughlin and opposition leader Arden McLean agreed on the changes on Wednesday and have since dispatched a joint letter to UK Overseas Territories Minister Lord Tariq Ahmad, indicating there is no need for a referendum to move the process forward.
But I'm absolutely delighted that we were able to reach consensus on these important constitutional changes. and that all members were able to put aside the issues of partisan politics and to focus on what is truly in the national interest. I think everyone in the country would have had concerns last year when the UK Parliament decided that it was fit and proper for them to legislate for us in an area which had been devolved to us, an area of domestic policy relating to essentially our company's management. And these proposed changes are certainly, the most of them are aimed at strengthening Cayman's position, giving us greater autonomy, and thereby discouraging intervention by the UK Parliament in what are effectively local affairs. So I'm absolutely delighted. It has taken a while, and it has taken considerable effort and some compromise, but that, after all, is our duty as representatives.
Any legislator in any country would want to have more control over the destiny of their country. And that's the objective of being a legislator, a politician. I've been through this on this is the third occasion, once in 2002-03, and then 2008-09. And I was an integral part of making those changes in our Constitution. And you try your best to ensure that you move your country to a point where it can dictate its own destiny. And that makes for good legislation, it makes for good leadership. And of course, each time that I have participated in any of these talks to move our country in that direction, it makes me feel like more satisfied of my tenure as a legislator. And the people can rest assured that I'm not going to do anything that is going to adversely affect the country, more to move it in the direction that they can dictate their own destiny.
Our Constitution is a product of the UK. It is how the UK wishes these islands to be administered as long as they're in charge of it. So what we had in the Constitution right now is, and this became blatantly obvious in what we regard as an overreach by the UK House of Commons on the legislation for open registries. Then we had a situation where the governor, on his own, right, could write laws and pass laws in the Cayman Islands. That was a very uncomfortable position for me to be in. Then the second important problem was the fact that he could override and veto legislation produced by the duly elected people representatives. And I believe if we are going to progress and become more mature in our political processes in Cayman, it is important that Parliament have some authority, because this is the only arm of government that is elected by the people and are unelected by the people if you're not doing the right job.
You can go online to both Radio Cayman and the Cayman Compass for more daily community news headlines. Turning now to today's weather forecast from the Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Fresh winds and rough seas are expected over the next 24 hours as a high-pressure system continues to build over the southeast U.S., increasing the pressure gradient over the northwest Caribbean. Today's high temperature, 87 degrees, mainly fair skies, and becoming partly cloudy with a 30% chance of showers. We're expecting winds from the east to northeast at 15 to 20 knots and moderate to rough seas with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small craft should exercise caution over open waters. You can go online to weather.gov.ky for the latest forecast, which you can also find on their Facebook page and on the Weather Radio dial 107.9 FM. Also, don't forget you can download the National Weather Service app, CINWS, to have the latest weather information at your fingertips. And that is the latest from us here at CIG Television. If you missed today's news update, you can always find us online, Cayman Islands Government, and CIGTV Info Services on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. I'm April Cummings. Thanks for joining us. Have a good one.
Did you know that planning permission is required for a shed? Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required? Did you know planning permission is required to clear land by mechanical means? You should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required.
The Royal Cayman Islands Police Service has launched a new service to apply for a police clearance certificate online. To make this process quick and easy, ensure you have digital copies of all required documents readily available. At a minimum, you'll need a copy of your passport photo page. Our website lists the full requirements. If you are using an Apple iOS or Android mobile device, you can use the camera to take photos of these documents while completing your application. After you have read the instructions and are ready to start, type in the alphanumeric string from the CAPTCHA image and click the green button that says Start Application. If you can't read the letters and numbers properly, click Can't Read Image below the photo to try again. To complete your application, you will follow 5 simple steps. These are shown at the top of each page, and the blue circle will always show where you are right now. Enter the requested data in each field. All fields marked with an asterisk are required. Each field has some help information, and please pay attention to the correct format for dates and telephone numbers in particular. When selecting your birthday, you can also use the calendar feature. If a field has a drop-down list, you can scroll through alphabetically or start typing to find the correct option. You will be asked to enter your email address twice to ensure it's correct. This is the address we will use to send you a confirmation email and receipt. Once you have entered all of the required information, click Next at the bottom of the screen. If you click the Cancel Application button at any stage in the process, you will lose everything you've entered so far and be returned to the home page. On this page, answer the questions about past offenses, provide details if relevant, and then click Next. In this step, you will select the type of service being requested and details of the person applying, as well as anyone who might pick up the certificate on his or her behalf. If you select certain options, more information may be required at this stage or later in the process when you are uploading your documents. Finally, select the reasons you are applying and then click Next. If you make a mistake, use the drop-down menu to change the reason or click the red X to delete a line. Remember, if you click the Cancel Application button at any stage in the process, you will lose everything you've entered so far and be returned to the home page. If you need to go back to a previous page to review or change data you already entered, you can use the Back button. You can also navigate through the process using the links at the top of the page. On this page, you will be asked for the relevant digital documents to support your application. On each line, click the Upload icon, select the correct file, and then click Upload. Repeat this process for each document. Based on the information you've already entered, this page will tell you the basic documents required. However, please remember to read the guidance notes to ensure you've included everything for your particular application. You can click the Upload More Documents button if you need to add more files, using the Comments field to briefly explain the additional documents you are submitting. If you go back to previous sections after uploading documents and make changes that affect these requirements, you may need to re-upload your documents. This is the final page before submission. Please review all information provided to ensure it is accurate and complete. You won't be able to change anything on this page, but you can use the back button or the links at the top of the page to return to earlier pages and update any field. By submitting this application, you are declaring that the information provided is accurate and truthful. If you are satisfied with your application, click Proceed to Online Payment. You may need to allow pop-ups and then click the button again to show the payment screen where you will enter your debit or credit card information. The Cayman Islands government accepts Visa and MasterCard, and you can use a debit or credit card issued anywhere in the world. Payment will be processed in Cayman Islands dollars for local service, and in United States dollars for overseas service. If you have questions about any exchange rate that will be used, or foreign currency transaction fees, please contact the bank that issued your card. The Cayman Islands government will not receive or retain your card information. Once your online payment has been authorized, you can view and print your receipt. Click Continue to return to our webpage for details on pickup date and time. If there is an issue with your application and we have to contact you for more information, your application may be delayed. You will also receive a confirmation email with this information and your official receipt. Please remember to bring your passport for identification when you collect your certificate from the Criminal Records Office.
The Esterly-Tibbetts Highway 3-lane roundabout is ready for drivers. It's time to make sure you know how to use it. First, know which exit you need to take. Pay attention to lane arrows and signs. Make sure you use your signal to change lanes or exit the roundabout. To turn left, you always approach in the left-hand lane and indicate left. To drive straight ahead, you need to be looking out for signs and road markings indicating which lane to use. Get in one of the lanes marked with a straight-through arrow. If turning right, you must use the right-hand lane and indicate accordingly. To use the roundabout safely, remember these 3 tips. Know your exit, pick your lane, and signal to make your turn.
Did you know your mailing address details on your land register must be up to date in order to receive notices on new development which may impact you? Visit Lands and Survey Department to check your mailing address is correct. Did you know that walls, fences located along the road require planning permission no matter the height? You should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required. Did you know that fences and walls within the high water setback require planning permission no matter the height? You should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required. Did you know that a trellis structure requires planning permission? You should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required. Did you know that a deck more than 6 inches above finished grade requires planning permission? Did you know you should check with the department as a planning and permit application may be required?